Hi, I'm Jenna.
And I'm Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. We are going to be reviewing a book called 1984 by George Orwell. That was just his pen name. His actual birth name is Eric Arthur Blair. And he was born June 25th, 1903 in India. He died on January 21st, 1950, which was only 7 months after 1984 was published. So this was his last book that he ever wrote. He died at 46 years of age because of tuberculosis.
That's so young.
Yeah, well, TB, I guess, was really bad. They didn't have TB shots back then.
46. I didn't realize. I mean, I saw the numbers, but I didn't do the math. I didn't realize 46 is very young.
Very young. But I think that TB took out a lot of people very young. I'm not sure. I don't know. So, school. He went to Eton School in England, and that's where a lot of people. Prince Charles went there. The Queen went there. That's like where all of the prestigious. That's where they all go, is to Eton. It's Eton. I think they say Eton. Eton. His schoolmates recalled that he was a very argumentative person. So that was just his personality. So if you were to say the sky is blue, he'd be like, no, the sun is setting. It's actually, pink right now. Or he was very like anything. He always questioned everything and was very argumentative about it. Like he wanted to know the other side. He didn't just go with the flow.
Surprised he didn't become a lawyer or something, an attorney.
That is weird. He was an imperial policeman.
Oh, okay.
By the late 20s. He had turned to journalism after he was the policeman, imperial policeman. So he was actually on enemy grounds, like doing that. I think it was like a soldiering type thing. He was a soldier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense if he's very argumentative, because he's going to be kind of more authoritative, like an authorian figure. Authority figure. Authoritative.
Did you ever see on South Park, Stan, or one of the people, I don't know who, Cartman maybe, I don't know their names, but he goes, respect my authority. Do you remember that?
That's kind of what I was saying here.
What you reminded me of. So, once he went into journalism, he was doing a lot of political stories and a lot of political short stories and then novels. He changed his name to George Orwell, and it was named after his favorite place, which was River Orwell, and it was located in, or probably is still there, in Suffolk, India.
Suffolk? Wait, say
Suffolk, England.
Suffolk? Suffolk.
You have to have you have to have the British twang. Suffolk.
Yeah.
Suffolk in England. England. Yeah.
England.
Anyways, so I was trying to figure out why he was the way that he was and why he chose, because that's not really like a fun thing thinking about to write about. Like, oh, I'm gonna go write a political novel. That doesn't seem fun. So I wanted to figure out why, like, what happened in his life to get him so politically.
Yeah, what drawn him to politics?
Yeah, what happened in his life? What happened to him? So what I found out was that he was an atheist, right? But he attended the Church of England every Sunday.
That's interesting.
Because, right, he doesn't believe in God, so why is he going to church?
Family,
Maybe, but I think that he was so just argumentative, even with himself, that I think maybe he went there just to be like, that's not right.
Challenge it,
just to, like, argue. Just to argue a point that this can't be right, or something. I'm not sure. I really think that he really wanted to just see the world as a whole and see, like, all perspectives. I don't think that he was just very one-sided of being like, church is good, God is right, and that's that. I think he wanted to, or there is no God, that's it. I think that he wanted to live in a place where science and religion could coexist, and he wanted to see both sides of it, and he wanted to, so he didn't just hear about it, he wanted to live it and be part of it to get the full scope of.
Or maybe certain aspects of it he did believe, but he didn't believe it all entirely of the way that it was presented in the church. But he could stand behind certain passages or quotes or things,
So,
morally stand like a moral standard that rather than a spiritual.
And that's super probably right on, because he memorized a lot of different Bible passages.
Oh, okay.
And he had a prayer song book that he would just like say, like he knew them. He had them memorized, page numbers and where you could find it in the book. So he definitely studied the Bible, and so it might be just those parts of the Bible that he really held on to. I'm not sure, obviously. But he was married twice, and he was married both times in the Church of England. So he had two Catholic marriages.
Catholic marriages.
That's a really long, drawn out, like 4-hour procession. They even have seats for the groom and bride to sit in because it's so long.
And then I think too, because I have friends who are Catholic, and I want to say that to even get married in the Catholic Church, I don't know how it was then, but you had to do some kind of counseling with the priest.
One of my friends just got married like that, and her husband...
It's like a process.
Yes. Well, her husband had already been married, so they had... He's from Ireland, so her fiancé then had already been married, so they had to go get his... They had to get his baptism records from this small church in England. They had to get his divorce records, his marriage records. Like, they had to have all this information before to prove that he did his first communion, that he was baptized, and everything was in the Catholic Church, or else he couldn't be married in a Catholic church.
So he had to basically prove his religion
background. Yeah.
Wow.
And then because he had already had a divorce, they almost wouldn't marry him in that Catholic church.
Because that one must have been more strict, I guess. Like, I don't know how strict
I
Catholic
don't know.
is,
and then they also had to go to the counseling classes, and it was like a 4 or 5 month, 6 month process, and you have to go once a week, and you have to, like, with the pastor. It's not even like, well, from what I understand, it's like just one-on-one with the pastor. It's not even like
like a group
it's
setting.
not even like a group setting. It's like, no, you go and you talk to the pastor so they can make sure that this is gonna last and it's something that you want to do and you guys don't have problems. I don't know.
So that's interesting that for me to think that George Orwell was married in the Catholic Church twice, because being an atheist, I would think he wouldn't have any of those documents. He wouldn't have a first communion.
Also back then, I think that it was very proper to do it. Like, he went to Eton, so obviously whoever his parents were very well off, or to have that like socialite background, because he was like a socialite at that point, because just to go to Eton, I think, is your parents are socialites, or it's prestigious, it's you're known, so maybe it was one of those things that you had to. Or
they could have baptized him when he was a baby or something, but then he himself,
especially back then,
when he grew up, he was like, oh, I'm an atheist. I'm
baptized, but you would have already done all that. And so then, and he changed his name, and I know that a lot of people change their names for different reasons, but maybe that's why he changed his name, because he didn't want to be associated with the socialites and those groups of people.
Maybe they thought that he was like privileged and they wouldn't take his book seriously or something.
Or
his writings.
Or I wonder if he wanted to be anonymous for the other side, so his parents didn't know what he was doing.
Oh,
sure. Why not?
We need to do a deep dive into his parents.
Right? I didn't have any focus on his parents, because I didn't think we would be talking about it as much. So anyways, and his funeral was also Catholic. And he is, so his political belief was that he was against totalitarianism.
Totalitarianism?
It is the longest word.
I can't even say that. It's like a tongue twister.
And it's the longest word I've ever seen in my life. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 characters long.
Oh.
15 letters long. It is ridiculous.
It's a sentence in itself.
Yeah. And so totalitarianism is a system of government that is centralized and dictatorial. dictatorial and requires complete subservience to the state. Pretty much the government has complete control over you. Over everything you own, everything you are, everything you see, everything you do, everything, all of it.
So that's
so he's against that.
That's like a dictatorship almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what he was for is democratic socialism.
Democratic socialism.
Which I don't think we're supposed to like socialism either.
Well.
But so democratic socialism is basically where everyone owns everything. There is no capitalism. There's no profiting because you invented this or whatever. They're just, everybody's kind of equal. Everybody owns everything. It's kind of like, you know how like Winco is employee owned, the store is like employee owned.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody has a fair share in it. And I'm just thinking how they're like, in my opinion, I don't think that would even work ever. Maybe in like a small village town, maybe 100 people or less, something like that. But we could never get the whole world.
Oh, he wants this for the whole world.
That's what he wants. That's what he would like to see. He wants everything. That's his political belief.
Okay. Yeah,
so
that would be really difficult to get the whole world on board.
Or even just like one town. You know what I mean? To get everybody, and nobody can be more rich than other people. Nobody.
So everyone is even on the same playing field.
Yep, you just go walk into a store and you get whatever you want and you leave because everybody has the same everything. And yeah, I
don't know how long that would work for. Maybe for a little while, but then after a while, I feel like people would. I don't know.
I think their violence would ensue, trying to steal things because everything is everybody's.
Yes,
and then some people will be like unhappy working, so they'll just be like, fuck it, I quit. But then that wouldn't work, especially because like the new saying is minimum wage equals minimum effort. Have you heard that? And then people silently quitting and all that, and we're not even in a socialist anything, and that's happening. So yeah, but anyways, so that's what he believed. And so he was a democratic socialist, and the book basically tells how society can be manipulated. That's the purpose of the book. This book, George Orwell was actually the media person and put together all the media advertisements and videos for the propaganda while he was working at the BBC.
Oh, the actual BBC.
He was actually the actual like British broadcasting channel. And he would make videos for India to see and encourage a pro-ally sentiment. So he was a propagandist. So he actually was part of, the problem with propaganda. Like we propaganda is not okay. Like I don't think. Right?
Yeah, well, propaganda is just trying to sway the people whichever way they want. The media wants you to believe. Anything could be propaganda. So
yeah.
he was part of trying to sway
India into being an ally, which is, it's just crazy that like I don't know how I feel about propaganda. I don't feel like it's right. Like it doesn't seem right, but it's just people just trying to sway one way or another. That's just.
Yeah, they're just trying to sway. It's like almost like trying to get your vote.
News, yeah, but the news shouldn't be like that. Journalism should be
factual.
There shouldn't be any bias. Journalism is supposed to be a non-biased platform where you just get the facts. But it's become a bias platform in our day. So this is already there's an example of how 1984 is already.
It's just like different news channels. You'll see this is more of a Democratic news channel. This is more of a Republican news channel.
It should just all be the same. The facts are the facts. Why are we fucking up the facts?
But you can almost tell who's a Republican and who's a Democrat by what news channel they watch. You just say what do you watch? Oh, okay. And you don't even need to ask what their political stance are. You just say, what news channel do you like to watch? What channel would you like me to put on?
CNN.
You already know.
Liberal. CNN, and then Fox, I guess, is the Republican. So it's instantly.
Yeah.
So I watch CBS. I don't know what they are, but I always do CBS because I'm I don't want any sort of that shit. So working at the BBC, I guess that there was a room 101 that they tortured. It was like a torture type room.
Wait, what?
At the BBC.
At the BBC?
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I didn't know any. Tell me more.
Well, I don't really know too much about it. Why I don't know too much about it is because the room 101 is in the book as a torture room, and that's where he got it from. So this whole book of being propaganda and all because the book was the main focus of the book is how society can be manipulated through media and through all this stuff, right?
So I'm getting like what MK Ultra vibes. Like, where that's a whole nother conspiracy we can deep dive, but where they basically do mind control with sound, images,
sound waves and stuff,
video,
right?
and everything. And is that what the BBC was trying to accomplish?
I wonder. I don't know. We should probably do, when we get to this part in the book, we'll do a deep dive into the Room 101 just in general.
Okay.
Because that'll be fun to do. Especially because it was a real place. And another fun fact about this book is that the term Big Brother, quote unquote, that we always use, the TV show Big Brother.
That's a real. I love watching that actually.
Yeah. So that came out like 2000 or something. Either way, so Big Brother, that term has been used forever, and this was the book that term came from. That was not a thing. That's what George Orwell made up, Big Brother.
So he basically birthed
Big
Brother.
Yes, yep. And that's part of the conspiracy is that Big Brother is watching you, always watching. You never know if Big Brother's watching. And it's a term that he made up for this book for 1984.
I'm so sorry. I'm sneezing. Excuse me. I don't know why.
I forgot we were recording. I thought we were just talking. So I'm like, why are you telling me sorry?
I'm so sorry. Because whoever's listening is probably going to sound really loud because I cannot sneeze quietly.
No. I sneeze so quietly. It's so sad. Anyways, I sneeze like I don't like the big old sneezes. It hurts my head.
I love it because I feel like I just get it all out.
Oh, God, I don't... But what do you do with it all?
It goes in my elbow.
And then you just have snot elbow forever? Like, big snot just chilling?
Well, I have a big, thick hoodie on. It just absorbed it all, so we're good.
No, and your white hoodie's now green in the elbow. Okay, so... back to the book. So pretty much the purpose of this book is to be like what life would be like in 1984. So roughly, math isn't working. It's really only 35 years in the future. It's not even that far in the future from when he wrote it.
But a lot can happen in 35 years.
Well, yeah, look it up.
Look at technology.
Technology bounced, yeah. So I would have just expected him to do year 2035 or you know what I mean, further in the future, because usually when they do it's usually hundreds of years in the future, at least 100. At least not in your lifetime. Where he should have been born, he would have been, if he didn't die of TB when he did, in 1984, he would have only been 81 years old.
I wonder if
So he could have totally been alive.
So maybe he did a number that he was thinking, I'll be alive, and then he can look back and say, okay, this happened or this didn't happen, that he would be able to reflect on it.
I know. I wonder if it was meant to be a prophetic book. Or if it was...
Or somehow that number was significant in his life. Maybe not even as a year, just those numbers. Maybe some people, they always see certain numbers. I don't know, you just have your lucky numbers and the numbers are constant and you always see 555 or whatever. I don't know. And for some reason, maybe 1984 was significant to him in his life.
Well, no, because he was going to do 1988. It was just whatever sounded good because he was doing different numbers. At one point, he was going to do 1992. He was trying. They gave a few different examples that he didn't know what he wanted. And then it was the last minute he did 1984 because it sounded good or something like that. It flowed.
It does flow. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, and a fun fact. So the book was published on June 8th, 1940. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. Shit. That's not a fun fact. I was going to say a fun fact about chapter 1, but we're not there yet. Never mind.
No fun fact.
No fun fact. You'll have your fun fact next week. So that's next week we're gonna start talking about chapter 1 of 1984. We will do a brief summary.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 1, but
part 1. So the book is done in 3 different chapters, and then in each chapter there are parts, like part 1, part 2, part 3. So there's like chapters in chapters. So we're doing chapter 1, part 1, which is about 20 pages, but it takes so long to read because you have to like reread it because you're just learning about everything, and it's just a lot. Give yourself some time to read it if you are going to read it. And you can follow along with us. We're going to go every Monday. We will premiere, we'll post an episode about each chapter, discuss it, review it, really dig deep into it. And and then on Thursdays, we'll still have our regular podcast. And then, as we said before, that we're going to do fun things too in between, maybe field trips to go see weird things.
Oh, definitely. We have to do at least one field trip.
Oh, God. We need to do like one field trip, like
a
week.
No, I'm thinking maybe once a month if we can, depending on our schedule.
And how far and stuff like that. So, all right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will see you on Thursday for our next episode. And don't forget to tune in next Monday for Chapter 1 of 1984.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and that's it so far.
See you guys later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.